So I wake up from what I thought was the next day from the concoction that Dr. Oz injected me with. And all of a sudden I step out of my bedroom and I see two dudes with M16s, helmets, and goggles. I immediately put my hands up and they're like, well, Mr. Brady, you don't have to put your hands up. I'm like, Mr. Brady, I'm not Wayne Brady. They're like, oh, I see that you're still suffering the effects from the head injury from being dropped on the pavement. I'm like, well, who are you? Why are you here? And all strapped up with guns. They're like, well, after the kidnapping attempt on you a few days ago, the Let's Make a Deal people decided you needed 24-hour security. So I'm like, a few days ago? How long have I been out? They said, I think 3 or 4 days, we're not sure. They didn't tell us. So I'm like, I've been out for 3 or 4 days? It's like, wow. So I go in the kitchen, there's food everywhere. There's pizzas, chicken wings, tacos, burritos. I'm like, where'd all this food come from? They're like, well, all the well-wishers. What do you mean well-wishers? Well, when everyone thought you were out or heard you were out for 3 or 4 days and you weren't waking up and you were in your bedroom and Dr. Oz had to eject you because you were having a seizure, people started sending you food. Hoping that when you woke up, you'd be hungry. They didn't want you to starve. I'm like, but how much food did they send? Well, based by the kitchen, and then we had to rent a storage unit, one of those, pods, and then we had to make space. We had to clear out another apartment. It's been a lot of food. Well, okay. So how do I thank these people? They're like, well, just go on the balcony. There's been a candlelight vigil for you since the first day of the report of you being kidnapped. There's with a crowd of people outside. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, go out there. So I go out there. There's thousands of people. They see me, they start cheering, he's alive, Wayne Brady's been saved. They started cheering, people started crying, people started hugging each other, people started taking selfies, which I don't know why. It was amazing, or actually disturbing, but I was like, I told the crowd, I'm not Wayne Brady. And of course they went, DNA doesn't lie. You're Wayne Brady. DNA doesn't lie. You're Wayne Brady. So I thanked them for all the food, and went back inside. And so I was like, well, this food's gonna go bad. And the security guards are like, well, we got that covered. The World Food Program, they have been here with trucks and planes and boats, and they've been taking the food in and feeding hungry people all over the world. So why is there so much food left? And well, they're like, well, the trucks and planes can only hold so much. They should be here in an hour to pick up the rest. But then more food comes in. Hopefully now that the crowd sees you, and you thank them in your speech, people will go back to their lives, and the crowds will disperse, and the police won't have to direct traffic, and there won't be more food deliveries. So I'm like, well, how many planes and trucks and boats of food have been loaded? I don't know. I've heard hundreds, I've heard thousands, I've heard hundreds of thousands. They don't tell us anything. All our job to do is make sure that you are safe. Okay. So I go in there and I have a taco and have some water, then breakfast. And I come back out and they're like, well, they're talking about you on CNN. Oh my God. What are they saying now? I just woke up. Like, well, they're saying that you solved the world hunger problem. How could I do that? I was asleep for 3 days. Well, they're saying all the food that people donated that you redonated to the World Food Program has solved hunger around the world. Everyone's fed, no one's hungry anymore. That's why they didn't come back for this food. You know that's not true. CNN is saying it. That's all we're just telling you. I'm like, that is not true. That's why I'm doing this video. Hunger is still a problem across the world. I did not solve world hunger. How could I do that being passed out?